Hello, everyone. My name is Leanne, and I'm going to talk about how this week's readings shape the way I think about the relationship between data, technology, and student success. These readings were really helpful and made me reflect on how data and technology can support students in more meaningful ways. In my current role as a resident director at the University of Utah, I've seen how even small pieces of data like program attendance or contact trends can give us insight um, into how students are doing. But these readings helped me realize how much more we could be doing with that information. In the reading by Weber and Jung, they talked about how data informed decision making is no longer optional. It's something colleges and universities need to do so they can better support students. They explained that just collecting data isn't enough. Institutions need to actually use it to make decisions about things like retention and graduation. And that made me really think about how we track things in housing. For example, during the semester, we send out a survey to residents asking if they feel connected to their floor and whether they're having a positive experience. And I realized how we could be using that information a little more intentionally to identify and support students who might be struggling. The reading by Rednick really stood out to me, especially the example of Georgia State University. They use predictive analytics to reach out to students who are at risk of falling behind instead of waiting for those students to ask for help. That proactive approach I really felt student centered and reminded me that advising and support services don't always have to wait for a crisis. They can step in earlier if we're using the right tools. And what I liked most was how they used the data to take action quickly. If a student missed registering for a required class or their grades dropped, someone would follow up with them. And I think that kind of early support can make a big difference in helping students stay on track. It also made me think about how we might do something similar in housing if we notice a student having repeated roommate issues, not attending programs, or showing signs of isolation. We could reach out and check in on them before things get worse. And I think we try to do this at times, especially through care reports where staff, faculty, or peers can submit concerns about a student that they might have. But there's definitely more we can do. I personally think, especially in cases where a care report may not be submitted. These readings help me see how data can guide us to be more proactive and supportive and not just reactive. I also really appreciated the reading by Sloan Lynch and Morse. They focus on equity and how to design data systems that actually support marginalized students. That's especially important in residence life, where we want all students to be seen and supported, and not just ones who already engaged. It made me think about how we can use data to better involve students who may not feel like part of the community at first, who are struggling to find their place. In my role, I've mostly seen similar ways we use data like tracking who attends programs or noting roommate conflicts, but now I'm starting to see how that same information could help us notice bigger patterns, like students who are engaging at all, or those involved in repeated issues or policy violations, and how we could step in to support them sooner. Looking ahead, I hope to work in Dean of Students office or in a student support role. And after this week, um, and the readings that I read, I feel a little more confident that using data thoughtfully and with equity in mind can really make a difference in how we support students. So yeah, I really enjoyed the readings this week, and this discussion really gave me the opportunity to reflect on it even more. So yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you. Bye.